If you're an NFT creator and you're asking yourself, what is the best way for me to launch my project, then look no further, because I've been spending a lot of time over the past year looking at who's done it right, who's done it wrong, and who is just really understanding the way the space works. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 examples of what could work, what definitely doesn't work, and what could work if you've already grown a bit of a community as well. So stick with us for that. Plus, I've got a fantastic project for you to discover as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video and find out more about new projects in the space that you can get in early on. But for now, let's dive right in. Okay, so we're going to kick off by talking about what some big projects have been doing for their secondary collections. And that starts with World of Women Galaxy. You may have seen this in a few weeks ago that World of Women Galaxy sold out in just a few hours. This was thanks to a Dutch auction. Now, the reason why World of Women Galaxy and some other big projects are doing a Dutch auction is for fair distribution, for evading bots as much as possible, and to make sure that they can really provide everyone with the opportunity to really get in and be part of this particular ecosystem. Now you can see the distribution of how this was all working. 10,000 World of Women Galaxies for WoW holders, so that's the original Genesis drop holders, will get a free claim. You then have the public sale, and then you have the allow list. Now, one of the things that worked really well with the allow list was obviously they were working with other projects to collaborate and get the word out. But these guys are an established project. So what happened on the Dutch auction is something that they can command because they already have the community. So they started at a whopping 3 ETH, and incrementally over time, so I think it was every 30 minutes, they would reduce that amount until it reached a low of around 1.1, 1.2 ETH, which is when everyone swarmed in and decided that that was the right price to pay for this particular project. So again, if you're really desperate for this project, you could have bought in anywhere between 3 ETH and also 1.2 ETH to get your WoW Galaxy. But a lot of people chose to do this when it was as low as possible, and that's when we suddenly saw the sellout. So it took a few hours, but it worked for them. Now, the reason why it worked for them is because they already had the community, and they are already one of the biggest and most established NFT projects in the space. If you are a smaller project, this might not work for you if you do not have, firstly, the people to back it to say that it's worth something around 2 or 3 ETH in the first place. Another example of this is the Mutant Yacht Club. So this is kind of what happened back in, I think it was December time, not December time, even earlier than that, back in September time maybe, when they'd already launched the BAYC, that had already gained traction, and that we knew that a new NFT project or a second access into their membership essentially was coming. And what we can see here was that they were updating their communities via Twitter. They were giving snapshots to make sure that they could give all of the BAYC owners the opportunity to get their serum, which means they could turn their own Genesis project into a mutant. And for everyone else that wanted to get in on the ecosystem, they needed to find a minting structure that would allow the best chance of a fair distribution, and that was a Dutch auction. So again, they were kind of along the lines of the pioneers of kind of doing this particular NFT collection sellout in this particular way. They actually sold out, I believe, in about 10 minutes. That's how successful this was. But again, what we're noticing here as a trend is that it's off the back of the fact that they were already a really established brand. So if you are a new NFT project and you're thinking what's the best route to market for you, this probably isn't it unless you've already sold a collection that's been successful, and then your next opportunity is going to be to step into doing a secondary collection and you already have that established audience. Now, one of the things that you most definitely do not want to do is do a hype project, and a hype project very much like hype bears. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the worst ways that you can launch an NFT project. Why? Because you're making a community grind and work their backsides off for something that under-delivers. If you've heard of the terms Pixelmon or hype bears or hate bears or anything like that with the word hype in it, you'll know that you're kind of buying into something that might only benefit flippers who've got a lot of money early in the process, and you're not going to be 100% sure whether or not this particular project has got the legs to carry on through for your investment. So obviously this isn't financial advice, but it is stuff to be aware of through the, through the insight and analysis that we've seen over the past year of what's happened. And it's kind of come in peaks and waves. where we see that projects kind of there were a whole flurry of hype projects in the space, and Hype Bears was one of them. And I'll show you why this didn't work. So they had a mint price of 0.5, which already is very, very high. So it's above $1,000, I think, for anyone wanting to get in on this project. I don't believe it was doxed. I also think that what you can see here from this graph is exactly where the problem lies with this. So let's just have a look at this. Remember, it minted at 0.5. The floor price now is down to 0.095. Okay, so here we can see what happened. They built up the hype. So people were grinding on the Discord to kind of keep their allow list spots. They did the launch, and it kind of settled at about 1.3 ETH average price. So people that were buying at 0.5 probably did make a pretty penny and managed to flip it if they did it straight away to get the 1.5 ETH profit. And then, as you can see, over time, this almost immediately kind of died down over the space of a few days. And then we see another little peak as they did the reveal. I'll talk about that in a second. And then what we see down here is it absolutely flatlining. And this is just not what you want to see in a graph. You want to see this kind of maybe balance out and plateau a little bit and then absolutely start taking off. And that's just not what's happened here. So this is why building up that hype and then disappointing your audience with a collection that looks like this is probably the worst way to go about things. I mean, other than Kevin, this is from Pixelmon. This is probably one of the worst looking NFT projects out there. So guys, avoid that. Really build up a solid community, and let me show you what kind of solid communities do really work. I'm going to have to give a lot of props to Women Tribe because I watched this mint process happen. I've managed to pick up one in the secondary, but actually I was really pleased with how they did this in terms of the work that they put in to solidify their community. Now, first and foremost, what I would advise that you do is really start to give as much information about what you're going to be doing for launching as possible. What I loved about Women Tribe was that they had threads which explained on Twitter. NFT Twitter is where you need to be if you're looking for an initial in to any NFT projects. They would explain to you when the mint date was going to happen, what their mission statement is, how the mint is going to work. And they were really, really transparent about this, not just a week before the mint, but weeks before the mint. So it was really, really strong in terms of the way that they were approaching their particular community. They had a really clear roadmap. They were very, very sort of set on doing a clear pre-sale and then a public sale. So there were 4 days between both of those. So there was a lot of time between that. They then connected with a lot of successful projects in the space and created a lot of different collaborations for allow lists, which built up the hype organically. You had other people, other projects saying, hey guys, you should check these guys out. They're doing great things, women-led project, love their mission, docs teams, all that kind of stuff. And you can find out more by, getting in on the Twitter spaces. And as those Twitter spaces that they ran, not just every week, but every couple of days, kind of really built up momentum. So again, this is like a good month or so before they actually launched the project. You're already getting a real insight and opportunity to speak to the founders, to understand and to buy into their community even more. And this is what worked really, really well for these guys. And essentially, once they did all of that work, they did the threads, they teased the artwork, they answered all the questions, they really built up a communication strategy that worked for all of their particular potential wallet holders. This is what really worked for them, because then they sold out on the public sale in 20 seconds, in fact, sorry. And it was a really affordable mint price as well. I think it was something like 0.05, which was incredibly affordable. And if you look at that against having to grind and work against a hype project like Hype Bears, you can absolutely see why this would triumph over that. Not only them, if we look a little bit further back into the calendar of what worked previously, then Boss Beauties is a great example of this. We obviously had the heritage of their particular background of 10 years working for My Social Canvas. They built a summit around women in NFTs on the week up to their launch, and then they built up their community slowly, steadily, but were one of the early pioneers of like the big female projects with a big business focus, and that's why they're still very, very successful today. They actually sold out in 90 minutes back in September, so this was an incredible project as well to be a part of.
Oh,
Hello, you've just caught me on another NFT break. Well, whilst I've got you here, I just wanted to let you know that we're really pleased to say that we've partnered with the Tezos ecosystem for this video. Tezos is the blockchain that you can build, play, and collect on, and its ecosystem is home to developers, creators, and innovators from all around the world. It's also super environmentally friendly with an average energy footprint of just 17 global citizens. Now, knowing that, along with low gas fees and sustainability through innovation, you can rest assured that this is a green, clean blockchain. And don't just take my word for it. Some of the world's biggest brands are building their futures on Tezos, including Ubisoft, the New York Mets, Red Bull Racing, McLaren F1, and even Manchester United. So a huge thanks to the Tezos ecosystem for partnering with us on this video, and if you want to find out more about the Tezos blockchain, then make sure you check out all of the links in our description box below. But for now, let's get back to business. So now back to business, and we are talking about a fantastic partner that we have teamed up with today, who is basically taking us through an NFT marketplace and also a metaverse for good. This is an exciting one. They're using Web 2 tactics, moving it into Web 3, and this is something that I definitely think you can learn from. It's called GiveTree, and Wazza from Nifty World is joining us to tell us all about it.
Yeah, so GiveTree itself, created by the entrepreneur Sam Joel over in Australia, fully docs Team Bex, and actually GiveTree's approach here is really quite straightforward. They're trying to support charities that are very, let's say, kind of Web 2 but early stages, but create new revenue streams and donation form factors in the guise of Web 3 assets, working with talented creators, building a platform and marketplace for people to be able to access. More importantly, revenues are getting raised and they're going in incredible directions for well-worthy causes. The approach itself, I would say, stands out, and there's key utilities that the marketplace are offering, which I think are just worth highlighting to the world. So first of all, a percentage of the transaction on the platform itself goes to real world charity benefits. Obviously, creators themselves are getting income, but more importantly, GiveTree are really trying to focus on that income being fairly distributed between the creators and the charities. I like the fact that GiveTree are really looking to extend the olive branch and provide that level of support and education to charities and bring them in, Bex, to Web3 technology. And also GiveTree themselves, what they're looking to do is help creators by fusing the metaverse which they're creating, which has been, I believe, built with a AAA experience level of studio expertise, support to sell out the NFT collections of the creators that are coming into this marketplace, and also allow charities to engage in a new way of working and getting closer to charity donations in a global window through the NFT marketplace and metaverse that's being built. There are some really interesting directions that GiveTree have been able to approach and head to, and this is because some of the amazing attention that they've received. Recently, they have benefited from $100,000 investment from Floor Re Adventures, an Israel-based VC. They've also received a $9,500 grant from Polygon Studios. They've been featured in the Australian, as well as an Australian TV show called AusBiz Cracking Crypto. GiveTree themselves are working with some really incredible looking partners, and some of these partners have sold out their projects. They're actually going to be running, Bex, and this is going to be on Earth Day, which is April 22nd at 9 p.m. Sydney time, a private invite-only game event, which is going to be including Polygon Studios, Venly, but also the Woodies. And Bex, the Woodies are a successful 10,000 PFP that's listed on OpenSea. Their social is growing organically. They're authentic. They're doing good with NFTs. And I think if you're a project creator that's really looking to align your work with a reliable and a focused and a visionary approach, then GiveTree.io, the marketplace and the metaverse are a direction that I would fully back on.
Well, there we go. That was your whistle-stop tour of what does work, what doesn't work, and what most certainly will work for you in the future if you do things right. Now, if you found that really interesting, then stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, because coming up we will have more in-depth versions of these videos that really do deep dive into what makes a good marketing strategy, community building, and so on. So it's definitely worth checking out those videos as they come out in the next few weeks. Plus, we also have something that you can watch now. Boss Beauties, as I mentioned in this video, did an incredible job of launching and selling out in just 90 minutes. If you really want to know how they did it, then check out this video. This will show you, with an interview with the founders themselves, exactly how they did it and what it meant to them to really sell out in an incredible way. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Hope this is useful.